Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast.
Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Elias Guerra. Elias Guerra is the founder and CEO of Popwallet, a mobile wallet CX platform working with some of the most innovative brands in the world to deliver contactless customer experiences to people through mobile wallets like Apple Wallet and Google Pay. These experiences include dynamic coupons and offers, rebates, loyalty and gift cards, tickets, and other lightweight branded content. Prior to founding Popwallet, he spent his career doing product and market development for Yahoo, Twice, Flurry, IBM, and Thomson Reuters. Elias has an MBA from USC and a BA from Pepperdine University. Well, good afternoon, Elias. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. Good to be here.
Awesome. I appreciate you jumping on. I appreciate you making the time. We are excited to talk about a little bit about you, of course, but then, of course, your product and company at Popwallet. So you've got quite the career in consulting as an executive, and now you're the founder and CEO of Popwallet. Could you share with our audience the secret to your career growth and what inspires you?
Yeah, happy to share. And I don't know if it's much of a secret. I've always, through my career, I've always embraced change. And I think from change and from some conflict, I think that's really where growth comes. And when I think about change in the context of one's career, for me, what that looked like was every now and then changing jobs, changing roles, leaving companies, and never really allowing myself to get too comfortable in one place for too long. And I think, when you take that type of approach, at least for me, it was always an opportunity to learn and to take on new challenges and to just really, keep sharp mentally. And I've approached my career like that, from the early days right out of undergraduate to, taking some of those basic types of jobs to today as a founder and CEO of a growing technology company. So that's always been something that I've looked at through my career. As far as what inspires me, through my career, it's really been having the ability to make a direct impact, a direct and observable impact. And, when I look at jobs I may have had in the past, working at big companies like an IBM or even a Yahoo, when you work for a large company, sometimes it can be difficult to really assess and understand, the output from your input, right? And you can often feel like a cog in the works. And sometimes you can feel like a very replaceable cog at that. Versus when you're working in a smaller company, especially when you're starting a company, trying to build something, from scratch and take that step from 0 to 1. The ability, there is no greater ability to make an impact than when you're building something from nothing. And I have found that to be inspirational for me is when I can directly see the result of my efforts, but then also, the results of the efforts from my team, from the people that I work with. So I've found that very inspirational over the years.
Thank you for sharing, Elias. That's really appreciated. And I can totally empathize with you on working at a large company. Sometimes it's hard to assess your input, right? So I do appreciate that. And I know your insights here is going to be very helpful for our audience. So Elias, let's talk about this pandemic. Hopefully we can just make this thing past us at the end of this year or maybe at the end of the summer. I don't know. But, obviously everybody had to pivot and shift and that sort of thing. So your product is contactless and it lessens the chance of coming into contact with bacteria and viruses, found on cash, coins, that sort of thing, right? And we know today that 2.3 billion people use mobile wallets. How much faster will the growth of mobile wallets due to the pandemic in your estimation?
Yeah, we really see that growth accelerating. So at Popwallet, what we do, we're a software company, and so we work with brands, with companies to create cards that can then be distributed to people and saved in their mobile wallets. And so the mobile wallets we work with are Apple Wallet and Google Pay. And if you use one of these mobile wallets, like so many more people are doing these days, if you open it up, you can see that's where you keep your credit cards. That's where you keep your debit cards. And so there's financial transactions that happen from the mobile wallets. But then there's other things that go in one's wallet as well. Things like coupons and offers and loyalty cards and gift cards and tickets. And so what we saw in the pandemic was this shift in consumer behavior towards this need for contactless transactions. And if you think about your own shopping experience when you would go to a store and, right, especially when COVID-19 was, taking root and growing and having a major impact, you didn't really want to touch anything, right? This idea of being in store and handing over paper cash or a plastic credit card or a paper coupon or even touching the touchpad. And so what these mobile wallets really afford for consumers is the ability to use their smartphone and transact in a safe and contactless way. And that transaction, it might take the form of a payment. So maybe I'm paying for my groceries, but it could also take the form of redeeming an offer or a coupon or my loyalty card or even a gift card. And it's really that side of the wallet, the content around those use cases that we focus our business on at Popwallet, and just overall with the mobile wallets, where we've seen a ton of growth due to the pandemic. And it doesn't look to be, not only is it not decelerating, but that growth seems to be accelerating in the years to come, where more and more people are actually using mobile wallets and transacting in contactless ways.
That's awesome. And, you're contributing to a bigger and better solution for our global community. And pandemic or not, I think what you're doing is amazing. And I appreciate the share on that. So, Elias, let's talk about tech. This is a technology publication. You're obviously leveraging some new and emerging tech in your tech stack. Is there anything you might be able to share with us today?
Well, I mean, I think the most interesting piece of technology that we work with are the mobile wallets themselves. Now, these are the ones that we focus on, as I mentioned, Apple Wallet and Google Pay. These are basically, they look like apps on your smartphone, but they're essentially platforms, and they're platforms on a platform. And when I say they're platforms, what I mean is that, a company like us can build tools where other companies can create the cards that go into these mobile wallet platforms. We're basically software that creates other software, and then that software is saved by a consumer into their mobile wallet. What's great about the mobile wallets from a technological point of view is this intelligence that's built in them. And what that looks like is it provides consumers this contextual relevance where, let's say, and many of us have saved a boarding pass in the past to our mobile wallet, or maybe a movie ticket, right? And remember when we used to all go to movies all the time, and thankfully now you see theaters opening back up. But let's say you save your mobile wallet or your boarding pass to your mobile wallet. When you get to the airport, somehow it knows you're there, right? And it can detect your location, and it can pop up on your lock screen, and you can swipe that and easily access it when you're going through TSA and security. And then even when you get to your gate, let's say plans change and your gate changes, and you can receive a notification or a message that says, hey, you need to go to this other gate or this other terminal. And even after your flight, right, that card can really be used as a means of communicating with you in this case, from the airline. But it becomes this persistent, ongoing communications channel, and one that has this intelligence that is triggered based on a relevant time or based on a relevant location. And so that's, what we do is, and what we found and why we started the company is we just saw these mobile wallets were so powerful, so interesting, but they were underutilized at the time. And so our mandate, our mission was can we make it easy for brands to create these cards, this content, and engage consumers through it in a way that delights the consumers. And so I think that when we think about technology, what's most interesting that we work with, it's really the mobile wallets themselves.
That's awesome. And, we were talking about, technology, and we like to focus on the emerging trends or tech on this platform. But this is something that is really becoming more and more prevalent. And again, thanks to you, Elias, for sharing that. So Elias, last question here. Our audience wants to know a little bit about Elias Guerra. Could you share something from your career experience that might be helpful for those looking to grow their career in tech or entrepreneurship?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, like the guiding principle through my career, through my life has been just education and this idea of learning and to always be learning. And that can take different forms. For me, it looked like getting an undergraduate degree, later getting an MBA, right? That's not the path that everybody has to take. Some of the greatest learning I've ever achieved, over a short period of time, in my life was working at a startup, and really where you have to roll up your sleeves and do the work and you have no choice but to learn, on the go. But whether you're at a big company or a small company, or you're in a formal educational environment or learning on your own, especially in technology, where the rate of change is so rapid, where, today's technology is obsolete, by the time tomorrow comes. You have to be learning, and not only learning about technology, but learning what I've always been interested in, and, how do people interact with technology, right? What does that end consumer experience look like? As I think about my own career, and if I could impart any type of wisdom on anybody else, it would just be focus on education and always be learning. And I think that you'll find that serves you well in the end.
I appreciate that, Elias. That was a good share. It's again one of the threads that are common throughout a lot of these interviews is being curious, continue to learn, continue to get your education, and that does go a long way, and it's certainly going to help somebody here in our audience. So thanks again. And Elias, it was a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, Brian.
Bye for now.